Hi guys, E-Bomey here. I was asked by a good friend of mine, Rich. His channel is rtadpull696. He asked me questions about what to look for while purchasing a Mosin Nagant, and asked if I could do a video about it. Thought it would be easier to show than it would be to try to explain. So I don't consider myself an expert on the Mosin, but having purchased a few of them, I do know what I would look for and what I would recommend you look for if you actually go shopping for one. Before I do that though, I wanted to give a very fast shout out to a gentleman who has just been doing some really awesome videos, and he's got squat for subscribers, and I really wanted to give him a hand, and that's TMT Racing. TMT Racing. There'll be a link down there to his channel. I'd really like it if you went over and checked out his videos. If you like what you see, hit the button and subscribe. He's a very nice guy, very interactive as far as comments and commenting back and forth goes, and he loves blowing shit up and shooting stuff, shooting jugs and shooting tannerite, and just a great guy. TMT Racing. There'll be a link down there. So back to the question: what to look for when you go shopping for a Mosin Nagant. I've had some guys PM me saying that, you know, when they went looking, pretty much the only option they had was to order one, so you didn't get a chance. Where I purchased mine, they have usually somewhere between 5 and 10 at any time in stock. And I simply asked them to bring them out, and I went through each one of them trying to find the ones that I wanted. So first and most important, if you stop watching this vid and just say, I know what I'm looking for in a Mosin, because I'm surprised at how many people know nothing at all about them. If you're shopping for a Mosin Nagant and you run across the hex receiver, don't even watch the rest of this video, buy it. That's all. If you find a hex receiver, add that to your collection. I will point out that some people are salespeople, stores, whatever, are keen to this. I have seen the hexed receiver Mosins selling for 2 times or more what you can buy a round receiver one. So right off the bat, if you run across that hex receiver, jump on it. Just the rest of it doesn't matter. Get the hex one. If you don't have time to wait and can't find one that's a hex, now you're down to what I recommend. Before you leave the house, make sure that you carry a flashlight with you so you can check the bore on it. What you're going to do at the shop is open the bolt, and while pulling the trigger, slide the bolt out. Now that you have the bolt out of there, and of course this, because of the length of this barrel, this can be a little tricky, but you know, take your flashlight, hold it down there, and shine it up your barrel, and take a look down there and make sure that it looks clean of rust and pitting. A lot of these guns have had probably minimal use. Well, some of them could have been used, and some of them will have been used. So it's kind of a luck of the draw. But you're going to want to look and make sure that there's no rust or pitting on the inside of that barrel. And that's very important as far as what I consider the first thing that you want to look for. Next, reinstall your bolt. And just check it for action. I got really lucky with both of mine, and there is gonna be slop at various points along the way it slides, but how does it feel when it locks up? You know, of the ones that I looked at for my round one, this one actually felt the best. So that's why I chose that. Next, I would consider on it, and originally when I went shopping I did not, but I've noticed now that I've had an opportunity to play around with more than one, that it can also come down to the trigger pull on it. This one isn't exactly fair to be 100% as a comparison model, because I have done a trigger job on this one, and I have taken up a lot of the travel in it. If you see that, there's almost no travel in that. And the one thing that I am missing from my collection, which I seriously need to get, is a scale, but I could be way wrong when I finally do get an opportunity to put a scale on this, but I want to say that it's somewhere between 7 and 8 pounds now on this one. In comparison to the Hex, this one has a lot more travel, and I would say, I don't know if it's because of that travel or what, but I would put this one at probably a couple pounds more pull. Okay, so you've checked the barrel, you're free of rust and pitting, you've checked your bolt. You know, the bolt is pretty tight and feels pretty good, especially right where that lockup is. That's obviously the most critical point right there. Check for your, like I said, if you have the opportunity to look at a few, just kind of see what that travel and trigger pull is like. There is things that you can do to fix that, though. That my other one, this one I'm basically is being left alone because of the fact that it's a Hex, where that one is a shooter, and I've done stuff to it. Like I said, you can shim up the spring on the trigger, and I polished all of the parts to try to make it different or better than this one, and I definitely achieved that, so I'm pretty happy. Now, last, and depending on if you're going for something you're gonna shoot, or if you're just looking for something that you want to collect to add to your collection, what's the wood on it looking like? I got pretty lucky. Like I said, I looked through 6 of them on this guy, and this one I have done absolutely nothing to it. The one, probably about the only real damage to it, is from disassembling it. You have to push in on that and slide the rings off, and with how close of a tolerance those rings have to the wood, it has scratched it up. You know, you probably have a varnish on here, and varnish is soft, and that kind of stuff is just going to happen. So, other than that, I've worked on the trigger on this one, and I was having problems seeing my front post, and I painted it with white fingernail polish, which under normal conditions it works out quite well. It doesn't work out so well when you're shooting at white paper targets though. And I added the rear pad to it because every single time I go out and I shoot this thing, I probably shoot it at least 100 times. And that steel plate of the original one just has a steel plate on it. Gets a little less fun. So there you go, my quick rundown. Barrel free of rust and pitting. Condition of the bolt, especially at the point of lockup. Your trigger, if you have an opportunity to play with 5 or 6 of them, and you can scrutinize a little bit more, grab the one that has the least amount of travel and creep in it. None of them out of the box are going to be impressive as far as your actual trigger pull. It's a heavy one, but you can do little modifications for free that can change that shimming and polishing. And then last was the condition of the wood. This one also is in pretty nice shape. And then the last and most important is after you've made your purchase and you start getting out and you're shooting, make sure as soon as you're done. I mean, if I bring 5 or 6 guns out, like the last time I went shooting, I think I had seven or 8 guns with. When I got home, the very first thing I did was clean this gun. Because of the corrosiveness of the primers, especially most of you will probably be shooting surplus ammo. I purchased a couple of 440 count tins. They come in a can that literally looks like a gigantic Spam can. And then I bought a whole bunch of stripper clips. And that old surplus stuff is corrosive, so make sure you get those guns clean right away. But I thought I'd show you a very quick comparison. The Mosin Nagant shoots the 7.62 by 5.4R. I've had some guys say the R stands for rim, but I'm pretty sure the R stands for Russian. So that's the 7.62 by 5.4. That is one hell of a round to shoot. I have videos up of it going straight through 2 1/4-inch steel plates, 5 inches of creosote beam, and still makes quite a splash behind it. In comparison to that, you have the 5.56 or the 2.23 round for an AR. So that's just a comparison of the difference of the ammo for these. But like I said, this guy here is a surplus round, and the primer, the propellant in the primer is very, very corrosive, and you want to make sure you get those guns cleaned as soon as you get home. Do not shoot it, set it in the corner, and say you'll get to it later. You're going to regret it, because over time it is going to destroy the inside of your barrel. Other than that, they're for the money. Both of these guns, the place that I got these from, they don't scrutinize. The luck of the draw. You walk in and they pull out 6 guns, and one of them turns out to be a hex receiver. That ended up being the same price as the other one. So these guns were $85 or $89 a piece. And I have to say, it's the best money that I ever paid. For me, in the box, I received the strap, and I received the bayonet, Piedmonte 89. Got a little battle royal last night over that with a bayonet. Well, guess what, bucko? I got a bayonet too. So I got the strap, the gun, the bayonet, and mine came with 2 of the leather ammo pouches. Some of you might get lucky, you might get cooler things. For instance, you may get the oil container and the tool kit, the Mosin Nagant tool there. I do have a disassembly and reassembly video that if you have questions about that you want to look at, because they are fairly easy to take apart. The only thing you really have to have concern on is your bolt, your firing pin clearance. If you set that pin too deep, it's going to puncture the primer, and you're going to get a blowback through the back end of the gun. And if you have that firing pin set too shallow, you're either going to have it not go off, or you're going to have an unreliable gun. So, but that's a separate video. There's plenty of them out there. I did one for a friend of mine, and I was told it was pretty decent and it worked. So if you have a question about taking them apart and putting them back together, look for my Mosin assembly and disassembly video. Otherwise, that's just my 2 cents on what to look for when you're purchasing a Mosin Nagant for the first time. Just some heads up of what you could possibly look for to make sure that you get an opportunity to get a good one. And it would also come down to what you plan on doing with the gun. Some of them are shooters and some of them are just collectors, so you may want to look for different information on the factory and when it was made. My round one is a 1943, and the hex receiver is a 1933. So, if you have any questions, comment. Otherwise, please guys, go check out TMT Racing. You won't be disappointed with his with his videos. So, thanks a lot, guys.